Hey, and welcome back to the podcast. My name is Steven, and this is where I talk to interesting people here in Oklahoma so they can tell your story and just have great conversations. The people I have on the podcast today are actually really good friends of mine, and I am so glad that they decided to come on the podcast because they are good friends of mine and they know how my conversations go sometime. So they're brave enough to be on here. The two people that we have on the podcast have moved to Oklahoma from Utah a couple of years ago. We're part of the Tulsa remote program. We're part of a small business development program. And then they started their own business here in Tulsa, and actually a really cool candle shop that you need to check out in downtown Tulsa. So let me go ahead and introduce them. We got Trevor and Basha on the pod today. Trevor and Basha, thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks, Steven. Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
So this is how I always start my podcast. And notice I didn't say the name of my podcast like normal people do because I actually don't have one yet. So Steven Talks Oklahoma is one, which I think is a safe one, which if you know me, I'm not safe. My other one is kind of edgy, and it's called The Poop.
The Poop.
Seriously. Why is that?
So it stands for the People of Oklahoma podcast.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Interesting.
What do you think?
You'd have to put like periods in the middle, like P.O.O. P. Maybe.
So you don't like the poop?
I mean, it's fine.
Just think about all the cool merch I can make.
Yeah, you could get some good merch.
I think initially there's like that shock factor of like,
right.
What
does that mean?
Is that? I think it could catch
the Poop
on.
podcast.
The Poop podcast. Would you listen to the Poop podcast?
Yeah, I'd listen to anything you put out.
Well, not just me. Like, let's say you didn't know me and you said, hey, someone came up to you and said, hey, Bosh, listen to the Poop podcast.
Uh-huh.
And that's all the information you got.
Well, I have to have context for everything, you know.
Okay. And then someone said it stands for the People of Oklahoma podcast.
Yeah, I would listen to it.
You listen to it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What
How about
you?
the Pop podcast?
I thought about doing the Pop.
I think that's catchy too. Yeah.
The Pop?
Mm-hmm.
What would that stand for?
People of
Oklahoma?
Yeah, just People Oklahoma podcast. People, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still debating. I might do it.
People's Oklahoma
Sarah
podcast.
doesn't like it, but it's okay. She's one of the producers, but it's okay. But anyway, no. So I'm still working on the name. That's basically the point of the story.
Okay.
But so I want to have you guys on because I think you guys have a really interesting story, and you guys have really did some or been a part of some organizations here in Tulsa to help, people moving here to Tulsa or people looking to be young entrepreneurs in the space. And I think that's really interesting. I like to get your guys' take on it. And then also, you guys basically moved to Oklahoma with no support around you. I mean, your parents don't live here. Your parents don't live here. Family members, friends, didn't live here at the time. So I think that's just like really interesting. A lot of courage, a lot of bravery.
I know.
Yeah, my family was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Yeah. So that's a great question to start with. Like, why Tulsa?
So a couple different reasons, nothing really in particular, but so we woke up, it was during the pandemic and, it was all during lockdown and everything. And we just woke up one day and we were like, well, what if we moved? And so she's like, okay, well, yeah, that'd be interesting. We could move. And so like, coming from Utah, like we've been all over the West, Washington, Oregon, California, like all those places over there. And the East Coast was too far and we didn't want to go to the North. Like we didn't want to go to like Wisconsin or anything. And so I'd lived in Tulsa briefly, back in 2009 for a time through, a religious mission trip that I had done.
I'm sorry, you can say it. I mean, unless you don't want to say it.
I served a mission for the LDS Church. I lived here temporarily for just a couple months. And so, but I'd never really been back. And so that kind of like initially drew us to here, but that's like not what sold us on here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we came to visit a couple times and we kind of just fell in love with the area and like what it has to offer. It was very family friendly. It was affordable. Like we could own a house. Like we could barely afford our rent in Salt Lake.
Right.
And it was like going up by hundreds and hundreds of dollars at the time. And we were like, how in the world are we going to be able to afford, this place when when it goes up. So we were like, well,
Better move to Oklahoma.
Better move to Oklahoma. It's more
like,
affordable.
let's expand our vision of where to live. And so we landed on
So what
Tulsa.
were like some of the choices? Because obviously, you said you're here in Tulsa, so that was one
Yeah.
of the choices. But what were some other cities that you guys had in mind, or was there really any other ones?
I think we looked at Texas, and we looked at northwestern Arkansas. We considered North Carolina,
Oh, okay.
and we
Commend you
considered
guys to them.
Tennessee. And he's
Okay.
building, and those are kind of like the places that we looked. But Tulsa, just like, I don't know, Tulsa has a lot of cool things, and it just kind of felt right.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Northwestern Arkansas felt right too. Like, we really liked the Bentonville, Arkansas, or Bentonville, Rogers, Fayetteville area. Like, that felt right. But Tulsa just like made more sense economically, and financially.
Yeah, and there's just a little bit more here.
Right.
Yeah. And the other thing probably that helped you guys with the decision is you guys were a part of the Tulsa remote program.
Oh yeah, that was a huge driving factor.
Yeah. So Basha had seen someone on YouTube who moved from California to Tulsa.
Mhm.
And so Basha's like, oh, we should apply for this program.
Right.
And so we literally applied, and within a couple of days we had an interview, and after we had that interview a couple more days later, we basically were accepted.
Right. And so for the listeners that don't know what the Tulsa remote program is, it's basically a program incentivizing people to move here to Tulsa and basically work and live here. And if they live here for 1 year, you get $10,000. Now, if you don't, if you decide to buy a house right off the bat, which that's what, you guys decide to do, you get $10,000 after you close and, provide the paperwork, you get $10,000. And they're really doing that to, entice people to obviously move here to Tulsa, but also to get good paying jobs for people that work remotely. Because at the time you worked remotely.
I did, yeah.
And
Basha did as well.
Yeah, I just
that's right.
I worked part-time, so they wouldn't give it to me.
Oh, they wouldn't give it to you?
Fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It all worked out.
Yeah.
So it all started with the question, what if we just moved? Instead of like in Utah, what if we moved out of state, we landed on here and just pulled the trigger?
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't intend to start a business though. You might get to that.
Yeah,
but that wasn't like our intention, was just like to start a small business here. We didn't know the small business community and what it was like when we moved here.
Right. Right. Yeah. So what? So when you guys ended up moving here, and what were some of the cool things that really drew you to Tulsa? Like maybe like a top 3 or top 5.
The first thing that comes to mind is obviously the gathering place, because we have a toddler. We came here, we're like, wow, this is like, a miniature slice of like Disneyland that's like free,
Right.
Not like there's no rides or anything, but it's fun.
Like the adventure.
Yeah. And yeah. What else?
I think, I think the family friendliness really was a big driving factor. Number 2, I would say affordability. And
because for example, like the house you guys bought a really nice, what was it? Was it 5 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms?
It's like 4 and a half. There's like a playroom.
It's technically 5, but it was listed as 4.
Yeah. And you guys, bought that for, how much would that house be in Utah?
House like that,
depending on the location.
Yeah.
I would say anywhere from 500 to 850.
Yeah, depending on the location. Yeah.
If you don't mind me sharing, can I share the price of what you guys paid for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys paid what, $260? $263. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
It's so crazy.
Crazy. And so the affordability is probably huge. And also, I think the vibes, the vibes are pretty good in Tulsa, like with like where you guys have your business, the Tulsa Arts District and food spots. You guys, Trevor's a little bit of a foodie.
It's me.
It's Basha.
Oh, you're the foodie?
Oh yeah, by
far.
Oh,
I thought you were the foodie.
No. Well,
it's probably because you talk to him more.
I talk to Trevor. That's the one thing I'll say about Trevor. He communicates with people really, really well. I envy that. You guys, you do a really good job of staying connected.
Yeah, he really does. I'm like,
so what's your favorite foodie spots or food spots?
It was Lowwood downtown, but they, that burned down. unfortunately. Have you ever
What?
been
No,
to
I never even
Lowood?
heard of this place. What was
Oh,
it?
wow.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh, what's the chef's name? He started the new sourdough pizza place on Cherry Street now.
Called
Oh.
called Lo-Fi.
Lo-Fi.
Okay, I've heard of Lo-Fi.
And so, yeah, Lowood was like our favorite. I love Cake
Is that next to Hodges Bend?
Yes.
Okay.
So Hodges Bend burnt down, and Lowood did as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I knew Hodges Bend burned. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was across the street from that pizza. That like,
That Neapolitan, what is it? The Neapolitan pizza place?
yeah, no, but something.
Yeah, no, okay.
I think
A
the
little
goat's over there too.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
It's down the
Which
street.
have you guys heard about the goat yet?
Uh-uh.
I guess they're like going through some like lawsuit stuff.
Oh, I just heard about that today.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy.
Corey.
You guys hear about that? No, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, and by the way, Rory's here, so their
Gosh.
daughter. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
just like,
Yep. Sarah's also the producer and babysitter of this podcast. So if you ever need childcare,
she's a good-
come on the pod. Sarah will watch your kids and
and Rory's a
everything
good
else.
sport too.
Yeah.
So
so if you see Basha turning her head, she's looking
yeah,
at Rory.
always checking on your dog.
But yeah, no, not a biggie. So, but yeah. So you said Low Woods. Or
it's just it was Lowood. I'm
You
really
said Que
hard.
Gusto.
Que Gusto.
is that over there in the Tulsa Arts
It's in the Arts
District?
District,
It's
too.
by Lone Wolf.
What's
Yeah.
What's enough? I feel like it's really hard for me to come up with things on the fly.
We like
What?
TXMZ.
Oh, we love TXMZ. Their street.
Where's
tacos
that?
What is that, 18th?
in like Boston?
Okay,
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
right-
videos on it and stuff like that.
Right
I
next
just
to
haven't
like Farm Bar,
been- Okay.
which we haven't had a Farm Bar yet.
We really liked Prime Steakhouse. That was good.
That was good. Yeah, but it's not like a spot we'd go all the time because it's
Yeah.
a little more expensive.
And here's another question for you. You're more like, I don't know what the correct term is, like more holistic. Is that fair to say? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
a little
you-
crunchy, maybe.
crunchy. Okay, I wasn't
Yeah.
going to say that, but I'll use it now. Crunchy.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you go to a lot of like farmers markets and those type of things, right? Because I remember you were getting like
Mhm.
milk from like
Yeah, I actually when we first moved here, that was like one thing that I sought out was like different like local farms. And so I immediately found Swan Brothers milk. They sell raw milk. I would literally drive 30 minutes up to
Claremore, right?
Claremore,
Yeah.
buy milk and go back. And then Prairie Creek Farm.
Oh,
I
shout
bought
out to
from
Prairie
them
Creek.
when we first moved here too. They're great local, grass-fed meat.
Mhm.
And they even they do like corn and soy free
Wow.
feed, which is like even like extra awesome.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those it's
Can you
just like
taste the
GMO.
difference between all that
Oh,
stuff?
I
Yes.
do. I think
Absolutely.
the quality is just I don't like brats, but the Prairie Creek brats are like the best brats I've ever had.
And where's that?
So-
Is that in Claremore also?
They are in Kellyville, but they do local deliveries twice a week, and they're at the farmers markets.
Really?
And their food's in some of the restaurants, like
It was Dilly Diner?
yeah, they're in Dilly Diner, the Kim's,
Kim's. I know
yeah,
what that
is it
place is.
Mr. Kim's. I think
Yeah.
they're in a bunch of local places, and then there's little like cafe markets. I love those places too because they also sell local meat and dairy from these farms too. So like there's Bone Broth Bar.
And that's down
It's-
south. I've been wanting to go to that
Yeah,
spot.
it's pretty good. I love their beef sandwich.
It is
It's
good.
really good. And it's very kid friendly too.
Okay.
So if you bring your kids, they have a little spot for kids, and
So,
so I love local places like
Prairie
that. They don't use like seed oils and stuff. I'm a huge supporter of
Yeah.
of that.
yeah.
Another good restaurant is Nola's Cafe.
Yeah,
no,
what-
not Nola, not Cafe, but
That's
it's
on
called.
Cherry Street, right?
Nola's is good.
And then Kilkenny's is really good. You told
Mhm.
us about Kilkenny's.
Yeah, we actually went on a date night.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
that video actually, that short video I did really well on YouTube. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Didn't know
Like,
that.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Smoke is good.
Smoke.
We
is
enjoyed
good.
Smoke. I don't know. We like to just try a ton of restaurants and then we forget about it
Yeah,
until
we do forget about.
Yeah, it's like,
some
oh yeah,
of them.
and then it gets brought up and they're like, oh yeah, I
There's
guess we did try.
that new restaurant across the street from the ball field is really good too.
Elgin.
Um,
Noche.
Noche
Noche.
Bar and
Yeah.
Grill.
I went to another place across from the ball field called
Was Isla's?
Isla's. Yeah,
Mhm.
Isla's. I just
Isla's
went.
was good.
Yeah, I went and did. They actually have. Did you know Oklahoma has a state meal?
Did not
No.
know that.
Yeah, we have like a state meal. I didn't know this either, but
Mhm.
Isla's is the only restaurant in Oklahoma that serves the entire
Oh
state
wow.
meal.
Interesting.
which is like obviously chicken fried steak, okra, biscuits, cornbread, basically a bunch of stuff that's not very healthy for you, but it's delicious. So
I've noticed there's a lot of mom and pop shops and diners here.
Yep.
Which a lot of people like. I'm just not a huge fan of diner food. But everybody's different. Your preferences are different. That's fine.
You're in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. We like our fried stuff. If it's not fried twice, then it's not good. If you can't find this at a state fair, then we're not eating it.
And I'm like, that there's no artistic.
We talking about fried Oreos? That's super artistic.
So,
fried Oreos.
That's what I would tell Trevor. I'm like, it's not fried. People don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. What is some other? I think they have like fried ice cream now. Which how do they do that? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Fried cheesecake.
At some Mexican restaurants, they do the fried ice cream.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It's like
I thought those
Spanish thing.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But to answer your question about the top 3 things, it's funny to say like weather.
Oh,
you wouldn't think like
that's
Oklahoma.
a great question.
So Oklahoma,
Talk about that.
Like you wouldn't think like, oh, Oklahoma has great weather. But I would like coming from Utah, like I spent 25 years in Utah. And so, and obviously this is a subjective, but like Utah, it starts to snow in October and it'll snow all the way up until like in the valley, it'll snow all the way up until into May. Like my parents sent us a video a couple weeks ago and it was snowing in May, right? How many times has it snowed here in Oklahoma?
This year.
We got once this year.
Yeah, I think twice maybe.
And, spring started at the very end of February. And so you got, March, April, May of just like great weather. And yeah, granted it gets really hot and humid, like middle of June, July, August, and then it starts to cool down in September. But like September, October, November, and even in December, like fall's great.
Oh, fall's my favorite time of year. And I think that's the nice thing about Oklahoma is like you have 4 different seasons.
And they start at the time
when they're supposed to.
When they're supposed to. That's the thing. So you get like the full season. And I feel like in Utah it was like mostly winter.
Yeah.
Right. And a really hot summer for 2 months. And then it was like winter happened again. So that's one major draw of here. Like the weather's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then here's another question kind of around weather, but I get this question a lot and I can't really answer it because I grew up in Houston and then I moved to Oklahoma. So the bugs are bad. Bugs are really bad down in Houston. Like, mosquitoes were horrible. I hate going down there. Mosquito. But what about bugs?
Yeah,
I'll let you answer that one.
There are more bugs here.
Okay.
I feel like every person's different. I attract bugs. Like I get.
It's probably all that real milk you drink. They like that.
Oh, I remember you came to our house. You're like, you got raw milk. I'm like,
oh, I did try it because,
but it wasn't.
You make the best sourdough bread. I love that.
Yeah,
you haven't made for me since. I don't know.
I know. I'm sorry. We've been busy.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Whatever.
I've actually
stopped.
There was like 2 or 3 months where I stopped making sourdough, but I'm starting to.
You start making it
bake it again.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I attract bugs like none other. Trevor, like he can be outside in his shorts and flip flops, and he doesn't get bitten at all. I just attract.
And that's the same thing for my wife. My wife's like, "Oh, the mosquitoes are so bad." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
I think it depends where you live too.
Yeah,
so
might be a blood thing.
I mean, that's not ideal. There are more like mosquitoes and stuff here than like Utah, just because it's like a wetter climate in the summer. But
yeah,
I don't know. You win some, you lose some. I feel like overall, we have pretty good weather.
Yeah.
And
overall,
Trevor's like a big weather guy. And I'm like, why do we care so much? Like it's 75 degrees. Who cares what it's going to be like in 2 weeks? I'm just focused on today. But he just like loves to talk about weather. And he even
I'm not that boring.
He follows weather in other countries too.
What?
In other states.
Because those are the places that I want to go. Those are the places that I want to visit or maybe live. And so like I'll save like the weather for that major city in that country.
And you go and look at it?
That's not like every day, but it's like if I'm ever on the weather app, like I'll look like, oh, what's the weather like in Porto, Portugal? And
that
like
is so interesting.
What is it in, in Colombia? And what's the weather in, Hungary. I don't know, just like places that I want
He's
to
also
visit.
interested in real estate because he was shooting me houses after he moved in, and
Yeah.
I was worried. I was
He
like,
has
"Oh my gosh, are you ready to move again?" He's like, "Oh no, I'm just interested to see what the market is."
He always likes to jump a couple years ahead and think about the
That's a
future.
planner.
Yeah, I
That's
guess.
a planner.
Yeah.
That's a planner.
A dreamer.
But I am content.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least for today.
Yeah, for today.
maybe
I
not
feel like
tomorrow.
you would also make a good agent, but
That's what I told him.
yeah.
That's what I told him.
But
he didn't want to do it. He wanted to start a candle business, which we'll
Yeah.
talk about that here in a
Yeah.
second. But I mean, I guess you guys like it enough because, your best friend ended up, kind of by faith or almost like by crazy coincidence.
Yeah, crazy. We were on our way driving here, moving here, and we get a call from his good buddy Jake, who he's grown up with us, most of his life, saying, "Oh, I think I'm going to take a job in Broken Arrow." And we were like, "Oh, really?" So like a month in of us living here, he moves in with us for a few months.
Yeah.
Till, and then
And then I moved him
you helped
in,
him.
found a house that,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I told Jake this to his face, so I'll say it on the podcast. I did not like the house he bought. I actually tried to get him not to buy it.
Really?
He's like, yeah, I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it and needed a little work, which I didn't know Jake until like now. Dude's super handy. Like that's a friend you need. Like that's a friend you want in your back pocket because he's super, super handy. And that property it was perfect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He loves it. And Rory loves going over to his house too. But when he got here, we helped him unload his truck. It's like a 26-foot truck.
The biggest one you can get, right?
All tools.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was like one little metal bed frame and like one dresser, and like that was the extent of his furniture. It was all tools.
That's totally Jake.
And like I was
Yeah.
I'm like blown away by him and his skills.
Yeah, he has some incredible skills.
I love watching him on Instagram.
You need to
Like
get
his
Jake on the
stories.
podcast.
Oh, dude, that's who I need to get on the
Yeah,
podcast. I'll get Jake on the podcast.
He is so great, and he's funny and he's talented.
So creative, and he has a 3D printer, and I don't know if I
does
told
everything. Yeah.
So, his sister, Camille likes, I guess, Super Mario Brothers maybe or something. But anyway, he made her a piggy bank with like the question mark, box that Mario hits to get the stuff.
Yeah.
Made her a piggy bank of that, and I saw it on his Instagram. That he made it, and my son loves Mario, like Mario fanatic, and so I reached out to him and said, "Hey, can you make one for my son?" But so he made one for him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I gave it to him for his late birthday gift. But,
Oh, that's
yeah, he loves it. He
That's
like
cool.
he always wants to like take everything out and then put everything back in,
yeah.
and just like
Oh, that's
carry it
cool. I
around.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he has like a little Mario outfit he wears and carries that thing around with him.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, but he loves it. So
Yeah, we love
shout
Jake.
out Jake, and then
Yeah, and Rory has a crush on him too. So
Yeah, she always
Oh.
gets like super shy.
I see that. He's like
Yeah.
he's like a lumberjack. And he knows how to cut down trees too, so
He
he
does.
actually is a lumberjack.
Yeah. He's a lot of
he
things.
does it all.
But Rory, sorry, he's taken.
Yeah,
He's
that's true.
just got
He's engaged.
Yeah.
Solar eclipse, probably the most gangster proposal ever.
Yeah,
Made us all look bad
I know.
doing it on the. Yeah.
He's
Shout
like, I
out
better
Jake.
do it now, or I'm gonna have to wait like 47 years, or something. The next one.
I can wait for the next one. But no, that's cool. And then Jake's sister, I just helped them get a house. So Jake's
they moved
moving in,
here.
and then your
Yeah.
parents moved to Northwest Arkansas, but we're looking at Tulsa.
Yeah.
So
They actually got approved for Tulsa remote as well, but Northwestern Arkansas was just a better fit for them.
right,
Yeah, it is,
right.
and they love it there.
Yeah,
I love it there, so it gives
Shoot.
us an excuse to visit
just so
there.
expensive up there.
It is. It is.
It got real expensive during COVID. All of a
Mhm.
sudden, it just boom shot through the roof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
So.
can see that.
But that's good. So you guys lived in Tulsa for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you got the itch to start a business.
Yeah,
And so you guys did Tulsa Remote. Going back to Tulsa Remote, during the time you guys moved here, Tulsa Remote was during COVID, so there wasn't as much stuff to do. Did you guys get really involved with the actual program? Because they have like,
no,
I mean, it was a weird time because it was right in the middle of COVID, so
Yeah.
they didn't have all the meet and greets and stuff.
we
that they
didn't.
normally-
I didn't go to a single event, unfortunately.
That's one thing that we could have plugged into more of
Yeah.
is like the events, because they do a really good job of all the Tulsa remoters getting together, doing an activity, taking you to different places that you wouldn't get to do normally if you weren't a part of the Tulsa remote. Like they take them to the top of, I think that I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I think I remember seeing something where they took them to the top of the Williams Tower.
Oh, okay.
and then they had drinks on the top.
Yeah.
Or maybe it got canceled. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally off, but
No, you're right. I mean, they go to like different events. They'll go to like
They
Tulsa
do.
Oilers games, Tulsa,
Yeah.
Drillers games. They'll have like, networking hours. They'll have
Mhm.
like little seminars with people. Because I see all the stuff, because I
Mhm.
follow it. Because I
Yeah.
think it's a really cool program.
yeah, but that's one thing that we wish we would have done. I mean, I guess we still can because technically we're still a part of the program, but we just kind of.
But they didn't have as much because that was one thing. Because I moved a lot of people with Tulsa Remote during that period. And they just didn't have a lot because it was, like I said, during COVID. So everything was kind of shut down. And they had a lot of virtual stuff, but virtual stuff's not the same as in-person stuff.
Yeah, true. I'm good.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks. I'm like kind of a social person,
Mhm.
I do really well with one-on-one, small groups, and I don't mind large groups, but I don't know. That was like a lot of me.
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
being a little bit nervous to get outside of my comfort zone a little
Right.
bit. So yeah, and then with a toddler, it's like, oh, I have to get ready and get her ready,
Find something
and then
with the toddler.
find a sitter. I didn't know any sitters. The first year of us living here was like good, but it was hard, like mentally and emotionally,
Right.
because we moved here not knowing anybody, any family, didn't have any friends. I got a little
Well, Jake-
depressed, and then, but yeah, Jake's living with us helped too, but I didn't personally have any friends here, so that was a hard adjustment. But yeah.
So how'd you
That
pull
was
through
me.
that? Are you still going through it?
I think, I don't know when it changed. I think I was kind of getting not necessarily burnt out of my job, but so I did mental health counseling virtual.
Right.
And I just wanted more. I didn't want to do that forever. So I also had that, and I was going through a spiritual crisis at the time. So there's a lot of changes. So I think having the desire to do business with Trevor, to do something, and when I found out when we decided what we wanted to do, that really helped kind of fuel my energy and fire, I guess, underneath me.
So your
yeah.
mom and dad are pretty big entrepreneurs, Bosch, because do you think you had that entrepreneurial spirit too of like
it's funny. I initially will say no, because I remember my mom, she never pushed me, but she would always encourage me to like start something. Like, for example, when I was in high school, I had all these prom dresses and dance dresses. She's like, Basha, you should like rent those out. Like, do your own thing and start renting out these dresses. They're gorgeous. People will love them. I was like, no, Mom, no. I'd always like turn her down. And so, yeah, it wasn't until I grew into adulthood a little bit more, got into a career that I wanted to do something on my own and have a little bit control of my time and money.
So you guys talked about starting a business. Was it always going to be a candle business, or was it just going to be some sort of business?
No, it actually started out as a blog. Like, I was wanting to do something, and so I started a blog kind of talking about I only did it for a few weeks. I was like, I'm not a writer. I can't. This is not for me. But I was talking. It was a lot about like parenting stuff, and like mental health, because I was working in that area for 7 years. So I stopped the blog, and then it turned into something else. I was like, I want to do like a dried flower bouquet business.
It was the meditation thing.
Oh yeah, and then I started.
Oh yeah, the corporate meditation. Wasn't that what you're going to do? Like a retreat? No. Okay.
It's probably my mom wanted to do stuff with that.
Oh, your mom. Okay.
She's trained in like the shamanic work stuff.
That's right.
But no, I was working and I did this meditation thing. This was before the blog, I think, or after the. It's so muddled now. It's so hard to explain.
So there's a YouTube channel. It's called Farmhouse on Boone, and it's like she does like all things natural, and she lives on a farm, and she does sourdough, and she does all these different things. Well, she has a course, and it was a course that you could buy that teaches you how to like build a website and launch your brand and do that. And so we bought that course and kind of went through all that. It was a decent course.
Yeah, I literally built my own website.
Oh wow!
From that, but
courses are so valuable, dude.
Yeah, and it was only a few $100s.
Yeah,
it was like I learned a lot of good things. So
and like that's what like launched us.
Mhm.
Was like, okay, well, we could do this. And then it morphed into like she was gonna do that. And I was like, well, maybe I could like get into Airbnbs. But then the market obviously is so saturated here. But so she was gonna do that. And then she was like, oh, I wanted to do this meditation thing.
Mhm.
So she bought this, what was it, the meditation course or something?
yeah, and I had already been well versed in meditation, but I wanted to get really, really good. So I got involved into like this meditation community / course, and it was super beneficial, and it still is. Like,
Yeah.
And so I was trying to do that and wanted to do like more like coaching. I'm like, I don't really want to do coaching. Like, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we found out about this candle idea. There's been people in other states that have done it. So we've known that it's a thing.
Mhm.
Then all of a sudden we asked, what if we brought that here? Like, that would be so cool. And we just happened to go on a little vacation in Florida. And then we did that experience, like a candle making experience on a date there. And we're like, we should totally do this. This would be so fun.
Yeah.
And it's so unique, I could go on about it, but that's
Yeah.
kind
We'll go into it. So you guys decided you want to do that. And then you also, through your searching, you found TEDC.
TEDC, yeah.
What does that stand for?
So the TDC stands for Tulsa Economic Development Community.
Okay. And so you guys found this during one of your searches. And yeah, tell me what that is.
So back up a little bit. So I was working for a company that sold POS, like software for like restaurants and things like that. And I would go to all these different companies trying to sell them software, and they would show me their credit card statements. And I'm like, your company brings in this much money every month. And I was like, wow.
Like these little bitty companies.
And I'd come home and I'm like, Basha, what are we doing with our lives?
Yeah, that's how it started. Yeah.
Right. And so that's when we were like around that same time, like we went on vacation, did the candle thing. And so like we were on vacation and we were just like, we need to do this. Right. And so that's when we came back and we immediately like went all in. Like immediately we were just like, we're going to do this.
Right.
And so I sat down and did a Google search of like how to get funding for a startup business. And there was a couple different things that popped up. Like TDC was like number 3 or 4. And it said, contact us with your new business ideas for funding. And so I literally called them and I said, hi, my name's Trevor, and we're thinking about doing this type of business. Can we get funding? And they're like, well, yes, technically, but we have this program. It's called Eden. I can't remember what Eden stands for. I think it's like, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to attempt. But it's basically like, take this 11-week class for $150 per person. And it teaches you go from business idea, all the different things along the way to, at the end of the 11-week program, you pitch the idea to them. And then you can like submit a financial projections, and then they will give you the funding.
Yeah. And they reimbursed us our money.
Oh yeah. After the class,
if you attend.
Yeah. They will
So basically, like if you pay them $150, $300, if you go through the full 11 weeks and made it to every single one, they'll give you the $300 back.
Yeah.
So they just basically just want to make sure that you're invested.
Exactly.
Have a little bit of skin in the game.
Yeah. And so then at the end, so timeline, we went on that date in October of 2022. We came back, we enrolled in the class in November.
It was so fast.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In November of 2022, we took the class November, December, January, and it finished at the beginning of February. We applied for the funding in March, took a couple of months, and we got the funding in June.
Mm.
We found our space in June, signed the lease. We did renovations and all of that. June, July, started training our employees in August, and we opened in September.
Okay.
So it was like light speed.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, but we were so certain of it.
Yeah.
And while he was doing that, like I know you're talking about TEDC.
No, yeah, keep going.
But while, he was trying to, get in contact with TEDC and all this time, like I was testing candles.
Yeah. Shout out to Basha.
I was testing candles up until like the moment we opened, really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true.
And it's why I can't wait till we really dive into the actual candle shop. But going back to TEDC, then I think the cool thing about that is first off, you get your money back, whatever. But they teach you how to kind of do the projections of like your business and like help you through that process because I wouldn't know where to start. So it like gives you a place to start. And then after you get all that stuff, you have all these documents to where if TDDC didn't finance you, then a bank could, right? You could use that. No, what?
No.
Oh, no.
Banks
so I messed
don't
up.
really fund startups.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Oh, okay.
You have to have 2 years worth of income or like being in business and maybe even profitable for them to be like, okay, yeah, we'll loan you some money.
Oh.
So they really were the only place that we found that like would loan us money.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. But you have all that documents that you could pitch the idea to somebody else.
Sure.
Yeah, you have all the
like
things
now.
Yeah. But during the TEDC, they were teaching you how to get all that stuff.
Yeah. And a lot of stuff we kind of had to learn on our own, like the financial projections. I thought we would get a little bit more of how to do financial projections in the class, but we didn't get as much of that.
Yeah, they gave us a template.
They did give us a financial projection template, which is really helpful. Yes.
Yeah. And so like you just kind of like plug it in, but it's like, I don't know if this is right. I don't know if this is wrong. I'm just kind of making it up. And so like I would do a little bit and then like Basha would look at it and like delete some things and put her thing in. And then I'd go back in, look at it, delete it, so it's just like
we spent a lot of time like really being thoughtful about our projections and the whole business plan too.
Yeah.
So what percentage would you say of that program TEDC helped you? Or I'm trying to figure out a good way to analyze it, or what would you say, like how much it helped you? Like, would you say it just gave us more information faster, or would you say, without them, our business wouldn't be where it is today? Like, would you say it's a total waste of time?
No.
Or was it just valuable for the funding?
You want to answer this or?
Well, if you answer it truthfully, will you get your funding moved away?
No. Like the class was valuable.
Yeah.
And I feel like the class helped us to get funding as well because we knew some of the people there. And we met one of the like underwriters and stuff like that. So I think relationally, like that was helpful and useful. Some of the stuff we did cover in the class, I had already kind of knew. So I think if you're starting from zero, not knowing anything, it would be super helpful. But even if you do know some things, it is still helpful to get to know people at TEDC and the people who want to apply and stuff like that. So I don't regret any of it.
Yeah. It was helpful.
But it was.
Yeah, I would say, I would agree with Basha. I would just say that if we didn't have TEDC, we probably wouldn't be a brick and mortar right off the bat.
Okay.
Because we probably would have to do like moving in smaller increments. Maybe we would have,
pop-up shops,
or maybe we would have done something different where
mobile,
where they were able to give us a funding where it's like, okay, we're going to do brick and mortar right off the bat.
Right.
Yeah.
And so without them, would we have been able to do it? Yes. Just not at the speed that we were able to do it.
And not how we wanted to do it.
Exactly.
Like we just wanted to go for it.
Right.
We wanted to take the risk.
Man,
it was so worth it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. So we get past the build out. Jake actually makes your logo, which you guys are in the process of, redesigning it. But so you guys do the build out.
So, sorry, my nose itches like.
Well, okay, it's okay. We can edit that. What I mean by edit it, we'll zoom in right when you did it.
Okay,
yeah. You got that? Good. Thanks, Cassidy. So you guys, get the business. I wish we got about 20 minutes. So I wish we could talk about the build out and all that stuff because I think I'll have you back on. So let's go back to when you guys are about to open. Okay. So you guys are about to open, hired employees, and actually back up. Tell me, this is where we'll go. Tell me how your business works. Like, tell me what it is. Because I don't think we've actually discussed what it is.
Right. So it's a complete do-it-yourself candle making bar. And when we say bar, we mean like you sit at a bar top and make your candle kind of using some bar materials. It's basically just a DIY candle making studio where you can choose your own scents, create your own unique scent blend, pick your own jar, set your wick, pour your wax, sit at a bar top and do that and have a drink as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's
basically like when we went, we walked in, Trevor showed us the wall of scents.
Yeah.
Which is super cool because you guys have like scents that are like kind of out there. Like you have grass. And I smelled that. It smells just like a fresh cut lawn. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you guys go to a website or something, or do you have
we just have a supplier. There's many suppliers in the U.S. that, that sell.
How many scents do you have? Because I never counted them, but
it changes anywhere between 80 to 90, depending on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody did like a suicide scent where they just get all of them and put them all?
We've had that question asked all the time because when you walk in, you know, the smell, everyone's like, I just love the smell when I walk in. How can I make that smell? I'm like, I don't know. I might have to combine everything, but it would not smell the same. So.
I think the closest we had some guy come in with his daughters, and he was like, one daughter chose like one fragrance, another daughter chose like something completely different, and then he chose something completely different as well. So it was like 3 opposite fragrances, and it smelled like a gym sock.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. but that was like on purpose.
Right. They were like, hey, let's try to make something crazy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like when you come into the shop, we have this called the fragrance library, and it's this wall, it has shelves on it, and it has every fragrance that we have in the form of a candle. So you basically go along and you smell all of the candles and you write down your favorite fragrances. So anywhere between 5 and 10. And then from there, you come over to the bar top, you sit down, and then when you sit down, you're facing all of our jars. So you're like, okay, I want that jar in that color. And so we give you the jar, we grab your other fragrances. So when you sit down, we have you narrowed down from 5 to 7 down to 3 fragrances. And so that's just kind of like figuring out what works best for you, what you like. And then sitting at the bar, we have like little jiggers that you would see like at a bar. And you just basically build it, mix it, and then you have built your own fragrance. And so it's literally building the candle from start to finish. And it's your own creation.
Yeah, we had to learn about fragrance blending and all that. But I'll help you through the process.
Right. And then once you're done burning your candle, you can bring it back and refill it.
Refill the base that you put it in.
Right.
I think it's also really cool. And I think it's very valuable for the area you guys are in because you guys are down in the Tulsa Arts District of downtown Tulsa where there's a lot of restaurant. Because the cool thing is this is like a great thing to do during date night because you make your candle, go out to eat because you have to wait 2 hours for your candle to set because it's basically melted wax. You got to let it, cool off for a minute. But then 2 hours later, you come back and pick it up. Yeah. So it's like a part of date night.
Yeah. It's like perfect for date nights.
Yeah.
And then perfect for parties too. We get
parties too. Yeah, I forgot about parties.
Yeah, like birthdays and bachelorettes are like the main 2, I feel like.
And corporate events.
And corporate parties too.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the top 3.
You having crazy bachelorette parties in there?
Not as crazy as you think.
Sometimes they like to talk dirty and name their candles something fun, dirty, and like that's fine. Like I'm all about that.
No one's like no one brought in male strippers.
But nothing to that extent. No.
No one's dancing up on the bar tops or
no, nothing like that.
Hanging from the chandelier.
Maybe we should let them.
Yeah, we should.
Oh my gosh,
we have 2 tables,
dude. We could get some male strippers, maybe a couple of stripper poles, or no?
Would you participate?
They're so funny. So the closest I ever got to male stripping was in high school. There was a couple of girls that worked at a makeup shop, and they asked me, my buddy, to come in and serve the women because they had some sort of an event in just a bow tie without a shirt. Which that was a lot of fun because that was back when I had a 6-pack. But that's probably the closest
Very risky.
I ever got to male stripping. But bachelorette parties, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I forgot where we're gonna go from there. But so you start your business, you got the candle, Wick and Flame. When you guys launched it, because you guys have a really interesting story of how you launched, because you guys, when you launched it, you guys took off.
Oh, it was a rocket.
Yeah.
So what would you I know the answer, but just to hear it from your point of view, what helped with that?
Well, Stephen.
Yeah, you really helped give us the idea.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, tell me more.
Our grand opening was crazy busy. Like, people were lined up outside the doors before we opened, and I was not expecting that. Of course, when you open a startup business, there's always some nerves. You know, like, is this going to do well? How is it? Can you take it? And like, in my mind, I know like business can be a slow burn,
Mhm.
But that grand opening was insane. We made a lot of money. Our business made a lot of money just in those few days because of your idea, and that was to reach out to local influencers. And we reached out. There was like 5, 6, 7 influencers that we invited to our soft opening the weekend prior. They all kind of made videos, and they all turned out great. I think there is one influencer that never posted a video, but that's okay.
No, okay. And you can give a shout out to the person that had the best video.
Yeah. Well, they were all great, but Brooke Bellender, she's a local influencer. We love her. She created a TikTok that went viral locally. And so everybody from that grand opening was basically from this TikTok. And then it kind of just, rolled over. What's the term? Like, kind of just snowballed, I guess.
Yeah.
That weekend. And yeah, we've been doing well ever since.
So there's 3 influencers that came in. There was Brooke Bellender, there was Mary Hathaway, and then there was Stephen Hester.
We had some more influencers.
Well, right, but those 3 influencers.
Did Katie end up coming out? Katie Harris? Katie came out?
Oh yeah, her video did pretty well too.
Yeah, I think she's bigger now than she was back in September too.
Yeah.
I think collectively with all the influencers and all the videos and all the views that we got on Instagram, I think we got close to 500,000.
That's crazy.
And then on TikTok, it was like
millions.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we got we've been open for 9 months, and we had someone come in yesterday. They're like, oh yeah, I saw a TikTok from 9 months ago, and we were in Tulsa, and we wanted to come and do it. And they came from Texas. Yeah, they were here for a horse show.
Yeah, so social media has been a huge help, because when I ask people how they find out about us, usually it's, sometimes it's like word of mouth. Sometimes it's just like walking by because we're in a nice walkable area. But the main answer I get is, oh, you're all over social media. So that has been huge.
Yeah, because I remember when Trevor reached out to me, he's like, hey, man, we're about to do our soft opening, we're inviting family and friends, you're invited. And so I asked you, I was like, what are you doing for your marketing for it? And like, oh yeah, we're still trying to figure it out. And I was like, dude, you need to get influencers in there.
Yeah.
He's like, you think? I was like, oh yeah.
Without your help, that wouldn't
I was
have
like,
been
you guys, and what I liked about it is because I've been to so many, like you guys basically implemented everything I recommended. Like you just reached out to him, said, hey, we'd love for you to come in, experience the candle making, experience on us, bring a friend, everything's on us. We'll have food, come enjoy yourself. If you don't mind, make a video supporting us, whatever. But also you did something that I think a lot of people need to do, especially when they're having an influencer event, is you guys made a cue card of all the things that, their business has. Because what I hate doing when I go to these events is going to go do research afterwards of like, all right, what am I going to talk about in this video? And I told you guys, if you guys made a little cue card of like key talking points, it makes the influencer.
Yeah, that was helpful too.
Oh, it was
especially
great.
that was a really great idea.
Yeah, because you just basically handed me that, said, hey, thanks for coming. And then it had everything we need to talk about. Because something else about your candles is that they're red dye 40 free or something like that.
Well, we don't use dyes, but
oh yeah, whatever. They're like
you're correct.
Not every fragrance is created equally. Fragrance, in my opinion, is toxic no matter what kind it is. Even essential oils. Okay, but if you're gonna choose fragrance, choose it wisely. Like, that's my motto. And I love candles, and there's a way to do it better than just buying a standard candle at Walmart or Target. And so we have what are called clean fragrances. So they're free of all the major toxins that are in candles, like phthalates and paraben and mutagens and carcinogens. Like, carcinogens are in fragrance. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, that's great.
And there's like certain ingredients in fragrances that make that pose a greater risk to your health. in different ways. So we just avoid all those major ingredients that pose those risks to our health. So we call them clean fragrances for that purpose. And then we use soy wax as well. So yes, that was when we opened this, I'm knowing what I know, that was really important to me, and creating quality product and a quality experience. It's quality all around,
Yeah,
So,
no, it's very, very quality, and we love it. I mean, we've been a couple times, and enjoy making candles. So you guys are doing great. But yeah, from the grand opening to you guys have just been rocking it. So what's kind of the next steps? Like, what are you guys planning on doing next? You just one store, multiple stores, hiring Steven on as the marketing CEO.
Yeah, if you have the time. No, our goal has always been to want to be in multiple locations. So that we would like to open another location. We're just not sure of the time frame.
Yeah.
Love to be out in OKC or Bentonville area, because we love Bentonville and there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Wichita.
Yeah, you said Wichita. I thought Wichita's like I like Wichita. I haven't been in a long time, but I kind of like what they're doing.
I've never been. So we're still researching, and right now we're really trying to like make everything, like our processes and operations, really, really tight, really good before we open up, and still like saving money to open up. So we're not, we like to take risks, but we're calculated and smart about it for the most part.
Right.
So we don't want to just, because you can open up a store at any time, you can get more funding. Like we could open up a store now, but are we ready to open up another store right this second? No, we're not. It wouldn't.
And you guys took a step with that of like hiring a coach to kind of help you guys with that. And you met him at TEDC.
Yeah, Corey
right?
Taylor. He's
incredible.
He's really great. He taught the class that we took at TEDC, and we reached out to him, and he was willing to. Yeah, coaching is really, really.
And he's
great.
been able to, lead you up to, because that's what you guys want to be the next step. But you guys, hired him to kind of help you.
Yeah, because we could figure it out on our own, but it would take so much longer,
and mistakes.
A lot more, and mistakes equal time and money. So might as well just pay someone to help us streamline everything, and it's definitely worth the money.
Yeah,
so
100%, it's paid off.
Yeah, a lot of things are worth the investment like that. So
all right, so two things. Number one, if you had to do it all over again, would you start up a business like you guys have?
100 times. Yes, 100 times again.
Yeah, no regrets there.
Yeah,
it's been so great. So if you think about it, sorry, I know I'm going off.
No, you go off.
But like we've created, like that's why people create businesses, because you basically create an asset for yourself. Whether you decide to keep it or sell it, it's something. It's something of great value that you now own and have, and I would never go back.
Yeah. That's good. Go ahead. I was just
gonna say, people, I get a lot of friends who ask me, well, was it scary starting a business? And it's like, yeah, it was, but it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. I think it was easier to start a business than it is to lose 10 pounds. Like, I don't know how and that's just the truth of it, because it's like starting our business, it was like one step at a time, right? It was, okay, right now we're going to learn how to make candles. And then once you've got it, you got it. Okay. And then now we're going to learn where are we going to get our suppliers from? And then we're going to figure out the cost. And so it's just like one little step at a time just kind of got us to where we were going. It wasn't like we had put a time frame on it and said, we got to open this business by then. It just happened to work out that way.
Right.
And so it hasn't been as scary. But like, what is the absolute worst case scenario? Like, absolute worst case scenario, we go out of business and we go back to work.
Right.
Like, and we have jobs. And so we were like, that's a risk we're willing to take.
Right.
So anyway, that was just my 2 cents.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. And then my next question for you, would you recommend people to look at Tulsa, Oklahoma as a place to live or move to? Would you recommend it? Or would you do it again? Move to Tulsa?
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
It depends what you want, though. I think we're grateful we moved here because of the small business community. we couldn't have done this in Salt Lake where we're from, or maybe other cities. So Tulsa was like, we didn't know it. Now we do. Is like the perfect place to start a business.
It's very small business oriented, entrepreneurial spirit,
community based. Yeah. It's really awesome.
I don't think Tulsa is as sexy as you would think. Like, oh, Austin, Texas, like that's everyone wants to move to Austin, or everyone wants to move to Nashville,
Denver,
Park City, Utah. Like, so I don't feel like Tulsa is like that sexy place where everyone wants to move, but I think Tulsa has a lot of great things, just like those other cities have as well. That makes it just as great. And it's almost like a hidden gem still, I think.
Yeah.
And people just don't know about Tulsa, or they just don't know where it is, and they just don't know about it.
Right.
And that's okay. I like that.
So my last question for you, and then we'll wrap this thing up, is if someone was moving here to Tulsa, or looking to live here in Tulsa, what are 3 quick things that you can think of on top of your head of you didn't like about moving here or living here?
3 things that we don't like about moving or living.
I don't like humidity.
Humidity, yeah.
Yeah, that's an easy. I don't like when it gets humid in the muggy skies. I'm not like a huge fan of that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't love I think the food scene needs help.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can hear the food scene needs help. So it's good that you're reviewing stuff, and I think that's really valuable too, because there are some hidden gems with like some of the food trends.
Right.
So yeah, those are my 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Tulsa has. I think the roads here can be pretty bad, but that's like any other major city. Like the roads.
No, the roads here are the worst.
Yeah,
they're horrible.
Well, the roads in Utah are pretty bad too.
Oh, are they?
Because of the snow and the salt and everything.
Yeah.
But I think the bugs. I really like fireflies in June.
Oh, dude, fireflies are sick.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to see that. But like the bugs and people, one thing that I thought was going to be a big deal that has not been a big deal: tornadoes.
Oh yeah.
Like people just think like Oklahoma starts over every 6 months or something, but
fresh start.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I'm with Basha. Like I don't love the humidity, but it doesn't really happen as much as it's not hot all year long.
Yeah, it's right.
Right.
And what did you say? The food scene?
Yeah.
And the humidity?
Yeah. There's a lot, like I feel like Tulsa's still like a work in progress too, just kind of from an outsider.
Right.
Because there's lots of great places here, or like shopping centers or whatever. And they can use some reviving. But like Tulsa, like for the downtown area, I know hasn't been.
Downtown Tulsa has not been the way that you guys have seen it.
I know. But they're still pouring millions and millions of dollars into downtown. Right. So it's just, I know it's just going to keep getting better and from here. So yeah.
I think my third thing is the poverty level. There is some poverty here, and it's unfortunate. And I don't feel like Tulsa has a homeless problem like major cities does, but there still is that. And I just don't think there needs to be the poverty that there is here.
Right.
For as much money as there is here.
There's a lot of old oil money.
Yeah, old money.
Especially in Midtown.
Yeah.
A lot of old money.
Yeah.
A lot of old money. But no, hey guys, thank you so much for being on the pod. I mean, we'll have to get you guys back on. You touched on a subject I wish we touched more on was tornadoes, but we can hit that next time. Just real quick. I mean, tornadoes, issues? No,
I've seen 0. I mean, Oklahoma does get hit, but we've had 0 issues. Not seen one, haven't heard one, nothing.
I've lived here for 20 plus years. I've never seen a tornado either.
Yeah, not an issue over here. So every place there's a risk of something, weather happening. So
yeah.
Okay.
Like Utah is overdue 100 plus years they live on a fault line.
Oh.
So if an earthquake happens, it's going to wipe out the whole state. So, yeah.
It's kind of nerve wracking.
Anyway, we don't have to talk about that.
Cool. Well, awesome. If people want to see where you're at, where do they find you at?
111 North Main Street. We're in Suite D, Tulsa, Oklahoma, downtown in the Arts District.
It's called
Name of our
Wick
bus-
and Flame.
Yep,
Wick and Flame Candle Bar.
Yep.
Yes.
And then social media handles?
Wick and Flame _
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything after an underscore? Or is it just underscore?
It's just underscore.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Maybe
you
I'll
could do that.
change it.
No, you don't need to change it. I just didn't know that. Yeah. So you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those three.
And then website? Do you guys have?
Yeah, wickandflamecb.com.
Okay. Wickandflamecb.
Yeah, CB, like Charlie Bravo Candle Bar.
Okay.
CB.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay, cool. Well, if you have an opportunity, go check out Wick and Flame Candle Bar located in downtown Tulsa. You might see Trevor and Basha there. Actually, probably will be. Yeah, small business owner problems. Always, having to work. But yeah, go check them out. And then, yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks for
Thank you
coming
so
on,
much.
guys.
Yeah, thanks, Steven.